So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go over two of the most common lag machines used in today's, fitness industry. So you have your seated leg curl and your seated leg extension. A lot of issues. I've even had people come up to me recently saying they're not feeling their hamstring on this machine. And just a quick kind of cues I showed them made them kind of think, or made them rethink of what they were doing, and they felt it right away. So the big thing is setting the machine up properly. That is like the number one thing I see wrong. So you need to sit in here, and you see these yellow indicators here? That's the pivot point of the machine. You need to line it up with the pivot point of view. So this needs to line up with your knee. Another big one here is this pad here. So if this isn't down, locked on, you have nothing to hold you down. So you're gonna start sliding forward. And then the last one is where your feet are on the pads down here. So you don't want it like way up on your calf, like here. You want it down on your Achilles, as close to your heel as you can possibly get. So let's go over the common mistakes that I see. So a lot of people, they stay in this position, which is great, and they're coming down and they're doing the full range, which they're coming in, they're flexing underneath, doing the full stretch, which is great. Like this is essentially proper form. But they get into this point where they start pushing against this, and they start leaning back, and then they start feeling it in their glutes, or they start feeling their hip flexors, because they're trying to basically jack up their hips to make it easier. So one kind of cheat that I do to get that away is hug these handles. In doing this, so basically what you do is you're going to cause a stretch in your hamstring from the start point. And you've heard me say this before, always start from your stretch point. So full stretch right now, my hamstrings, still pulling all the way under, getting full squeeze, out to the stretch, down to the squeeze, full stretch. And another thing you can do is angle your toes. So you can angle your toes towards each other, or you can go normal, which is basically just straight up and down, or you can go toes away, which is basically the outer part of the hamstring and the glute tie-ins. So this is one thing you can do with a hamstring, is change. So I would say like every 5 reps or so, you could basically pause for 1 rep, change your toe placement, and keep going, full range. So for this, if you're gonna do the toe changes and you do them every 5 reps, do, I'd say at least 4 sets, 5 sets of 15, interchanging every 5 reps the toe direction. Essentially what you're doing here, if you're not doing it at the end of the workout, you're warming up your knees, you're warming up the muscle to get into the heavy lifts. I'm older, so I would do these 2 before I even get into leg press, squats, stuff like that, because I'm old and I have old knees, so that's something I have to do. So let's get into leg extension. Another one that is done poorly. So big one is where we put in the seat. So that all comes down to pivot point. So I sit back, everything's lined up here, but for me, as you can tell, I'm already in a lean back position. So I'm gonna move this chair up 1 notch. All right, so there, that's better. So for this, again, the male ego comes into this, and everyone just tries to jack the weight low. And I've recently picked up clients, and they're coming to me after I give them my program, and they're like, why can't I do my regular leg extension weight? Why can't I do 150 or the stack? And my first response is, well, why are you doing the stack? Have your legs grown from doing the stack? Oh, I don't know. It's these common answers that I get from the young generation that there's just, when you ask them a simple question like, well, have you grown from that way? And their straight up answer is, well, I don't know. How about you don't do it and do something else? So pick a weight, you're gonna feel it. So you're coming up, pointing your toes back at each other, holding that flex, and control the weight on the way down. You're not just doing this, just swinging it. And I find that's what a lot of these kids do. They jack it up, they don't hold it at the top, and they just let it fly down. There's no negative whatsoever. So the big thing I'm telling them is control the weight. Come up, hold the flex, can slow down. Come up, hold the flex, slow down. So control the weight instead of letting the weight just control you, basically. And yes, the strength will come after you start to do it properly, but that's where a lot of people come into mistakes, and they're just not getting the optimal. They're complaining of knee. What's that?
The optimal word.
Yeah. They're complaining of knee pain. It's because they're going so heavy. There's a lot of torque on the knee when you're doing this. So if you're just jacking the weight up for no apparent reason and just flinging it, you're getting nothing out of it but knee tension and torque on your knee. So what I would recommend is lighten the weight up, particularly for me, just as this is my preference. I like doing rounds of 15. So if you do 3 rounds of 15 with 20-second breaks, so essentially each set is 45 reps. So do 15, 20-second break, 15, 20-second break, another 15. Then you can take 60 to 90 seconds break. Gonna do 4 sets of that. That's gonna put so much blood into your quads and your knees. By the time you get over to the squats and leg press, there's gonna be no issues. And there's so much blood in there, you don't have to jack up the weight to 5 plates on your squat or load up the leg press to full out to get growth, because you've already got the blood in there. Now you're just essentially pumping more blood in and trying to basically max out the reps and get the full potential out of growth. So it's a lot of this misconception and social media, push heavy weights, pain equals growth. No, it doesn't. So anyways, that is my thought process on these 2 machines. Use it in the next time you do leg day, and I'm guaranteeing you, especially the lag extension protocol I just gave you, you're gonna notice a wicked pump. So give it a try next time.